And we're back. Howdy y'all, this is Ethan Bonreal playing Earthbound, and last time we were here, we met up with the Runaway Five, and they agreed to take us to the next city. But before we do that, as you can see, we're heading back towards Happy Happy Villages, or Village, not Villages, in order to check out that cave that we avoided on our first time there. So, I'm gonna go ahead and talk to this guy, okay? And this kid. I heard that you, Paula, beat up the kidnapper. Okay. And go to Happy Happy Village again so we can take care of that. So I'm gonna go ahead and cut the video, once we get into the cave, and we'll reappear in Happy Happy Village. Alright. Or maybe I'm silly. This is post-commentary, by the way. There we go, now we're there. Okay, so... And I always make the mistake. I always forget about the fence that's there. We're gonna go into that cave after we check out our inventory, because we are gonna need a few items here and there. And check out our hand aid. We did get that last episode. In any case, before I forget, what was I about to say? We got a checklist of 3 things we need to do here. First, we need to check out this cave here. Then we probably are going to fight a boss. And then after that, we need to go to the Runaway 5 to the next town. And as you might notice, there are no enemies here. After you activate the event with the Runaway 5, where they offer to take you to the next town, actually no enemies besides bosses will be spawned in the game, so you can actually take this time to go back and go through some areas to recollect stuff that you missed. Like I picked up a cup of life noodles, which is a restoration item that revives you when you die. In peaceful Rest Valley because there were no trees there to murder Paula. In any case, how are y'all doing? I'm doing just fine. I'm just tired and bored. I recorded 2 episodes today, so I'll have another one to upload tomorrow. And also, I bought a game called Don't Starve. I don't know if y'all have heard about it, but it's pretty fun. I'm enjoying it a lot. I might actually do a series on that eventually, but whatever. And also, I'm learning how to at least read and talk Spanish. If it's anything like me learning German came out, I'll be able to read it proficiently and then not speak a lick of it because my southern accent prevents me from doing such things. Anyway, we just got a PSI Caramel. That's actually one of the few PSI restoring items in the game, and we're actually coming up on the boss right now, so let's go ahead and take care of that. Alright. Are we fully healed? There we go, eating that bread roll. Alright, so this is the Mondo Mole. He's gonna be our second boss we're fighting that has to do with a sanctuary location. And he's one of the mini-bosses where, if you come prepared, you're just gonna smash him in the face and ruin his life. Or alternatively, if you experiment with status effects, everything will be dandy. His weaknesses are PSI Flash and PSI Paralysis. If you use those, he basically literally can do nothing to you, once both of them are up, because he'll either miss every turn, or he'll waste them by being paralyzed. And that's something I applaud the Earthbound team for, clap, 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 is that they actually created a game where status effects are nigh necessary to beat bosses. Because this fight can actually be really, 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 really hard if you do not use the proper status effects. Because he just hits really hard, and he can about 2-shot Paula. Well, he can 1-shot Paula and 2-shot Ness. The alternative you can do, if you're kinda not catching the power of status effects, is use PSI Shield and then just hope to bash him to death. This is also one of the bosses that has a pretty large reserve of PP, which means he can freely use a lot of PSI abilities. But, oh well. That's really all I gotta say about this boss, and it turns out that we just killed him this turn, so that's just dandy. Nest and EXP. And that should be probably 1 or 2 levels for Paula. Getting some pretty solid increases. You'll also notice that Paula gets some pretty not great, I almost called it AD, pretty not great, physical attack bonuses, or, offense bonuses in this game. In part because, again, she is a dedicated, mage, in air quotes, even though it's not really magic, it's PSI. And as I showed you, her abilities scale extremely well and hit very, very hard against people who are not resistant to it. The mole is actually resistant to Apollo's 2 offensive PSI abilities. But other than that, it's nothing to worry about. Anyway, what does this got to say? Ness barely had a glimpse or vision of a boy in a red cap. Alright, so we're gonna go ahead and look at the sound stone. Ness placed the sound stone to his head, okay. Alright, so just as a reminder, the reason why I'm letting y'all hear that is because as you collect all the melody, or rather, that's the entire purpose of our adventure, is that we're trying to collect all 8 pieces of this melody, that will increase our powers. So, as we gather more and more, I'm going to let you hear more of the song it makes. Anyway, we're back in, Twoson, and now we need to go ahead and talk to the Runaway 5 after we make sure we're prepared. I did go and buy another teddy bear off screen and some hamburgers. So we're gonna go ahead and roll over to Threed. Yeah, I wanna ride. Let's go. Okay. So I'm gonna hop in the bus here today. Alright. Hey, oh, you're so silly, you're driving the wrong way. There you go. Okay. I'm so glad he didn't hit that dog. That would have ruined my life. Oh my. Or that small child. But yeah, so I guess what our next adventure, or our adventure is taking us to next time, and by next time I mean now, is the town of Threed, which you'll see is probably another pretty interesting and memorable town in this game, because unlike the stuff with Twoson and Happy Village, this part of the game, or rather this next area of the game, actually takes a little bit of a good while. It's not long, but it's pretty involved, and you have to do some backtracking, not to a previous town, but you have to go to a newer area and then come back to the town of Threed, so it's pretty interesting. And as you might have noticed from the ghost, this town kind of has a dangerous problem with the undead here, so that's what's going on in Threed. Anyway, looks like we have to say goodbye for now. This town seems pretty gloomy, but I'm sure you can light this place up with your own brand of sunshine. Hope to see you again sometime. Look for us to be singing at the something something in Forside. Okay, good for you. Alright, so I guess we should investigate the town a bit. What do you gotta say? There's graffiti here. Just play it. Okay. Hey, a dog. Hey, 2 other dogs. Oh, those aren't the normal friendly dogs. They're zombie dogs. Oh no. Blah 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 blah. I don't know if I've mentioned this in a video, but I actually have a very real fear of zombies. Like a actual phobia of zombies. I actually have nightmares about zombies. Pretty fairly consistently. That was actually something that I had trouble with in college too. When I first started college, is that I started having a lot of nightmares about zombies, repeatedly. On the other side of things, I'm also slightly obsessed with zombies. Go figure, I have this morbid fascination with them. Even though they're very disturbing to me, I just can't not think about them. I'll get obsessed with them for a week and, look up all sorts of different stuff on them, but whatever. In case, Paula leveled up. Alrighty, so we're just gonna try to keep out of this next zombie dog's way, and I'll guess I'm gonna go ahead and get into the social stuff I usually talk about, because I've missed out on the previous 2 episodes of doing this. And right now all we're doing is exploring the city to see how to get to the next area. But, what I wanted to talk about is that I recently read an article by Jasbir Puar critiquing It Gets Better. If you don't remember what happened, really, It Gets Better as a campaign was actually started in a response to the surge, in air quotes, of media representation of queer teen suicides, more specifically, the suicides of gay teens. And the reason why I say surge in air quotes is that the suicide of queer people and queer teens has been something that's been happening for a very, very, very long time, and I actually don't think that was a particular surge, in my opinion. What happens is that the media has not found it profitable to report the suicide of queer teens until semi-recently, and so it seemed like a surge. Anyway, what this whole critique of this was, what Jasbir's critique was, rather, was talking about necropolitics, or the politics of suicide, or and when we consider people to be dying. What Jasbir kind of lays out is that we really only care about what went wrong or what was wrong with someone when a dead body is produced. We don't consider that someone may have been dying long before they self-terminated, and by we consider, I mean it's not reflected in both political and social terms a lot of times. Even within intimate members of a family. Suicide doesn't seem to be a spontaneous event. There are often factors that affect or are affected by one's quality of life that go into suicide. For instance, one's quality of life in itself can be a reason to commit suicide if you don't think life is going to get better. That seems to be a reasonable reason to want to go for that. And I'm going to stray from Jasbir's argument a bit, but I think it's really neat that people can see that there's something up with someone, and that certain situations or actions, like homophobia, can lead to suicide, but at the same time, people don't have really that much drive to intervene in social or political ways, other than just telling people don't commit suicide or reaffirming that that person's life is valuable. But if you're talking to someone who is suicidal and telling them that their life is actually good or great, or that they shouldn't commit suicide because it will get better, that for one, they'll probably get kind of angry at you. Because at the same time, these are often the same people who are saying or doing things that are making people suicidal in the first place. Back to the example of homophobia. A lot of people, even though, don't really fight homophobia, but at the same time, people don't fight homophobia until it leads to that creation of a dead body, until someone commits suicide. Otherwise, they're quite complacent with it, despite the fact that homophobia clearly is causing people a loss of livelihood or just making people unhappy. So that's what I have to say about that. Anyway, I'm actually going to cut this argument for now, because we're rounding about somewhere plot relevant. I'll talk more about this next episode, because I already have it recorded. Anyway, so it looks like inside the circus tent is the base of operations for the zombie eradication committee. So we need to go ahead and go there after we finish talking to this dude. Hi, Peepswell. I mean, Peeps Good. I haven't mentioned our chicken buddy lately. Anyway, what do you gotta say? Yeah. The zombies are slowly advancing towards the tent. Everyone, I repeat. Okay, no problem here. Whoops. I'm glad you're on your way to help us, but you're pretty young. Why don't we get all the... Yeah, okay. Welp. I guess I'm going to go ahead and cut the video, so I'll catch y'all later. Have a good one.